Hi, my name is Brooke Karen. I'm going to show you how I draw in Illustrator and also how to scan in a drawing that you drew traditionally and make it into a vector drawing. Watching my speech with me today is my mom Tracy, my sister Mary, my dad Scott, my sister Faith, and my friend Laura. Alright, I'm going to be drawing on my MacBook and I'm going to be using my Wacom Bamboo tablet to draw with. So to get started, I'm going to be using Adobe Illustrator Creative Cloud 2015, which is the latest version of Illustrator. So when you click on it and you open it up, it's going to look like this. You're going to have your toolbar on this side and your workstation on this side. And there's going to be no canvas in the middle. So to pull up a canvas, you go up to File and New. It's going to pull up the screen right here. And you're going to select the width and height. The width is the size left and right of the image, and the height is the up and down. The scale up and down. And I'm going to be using pixels as a unit. The unit is what it's measured in. So select that. And the width is going to be 1920, and the height is going to be 1080, which that is a standard screen size, which is used a lot. So I'm going to push OK once you select the size you want, and it's going to pop up like this. I'm going to move it over a little bit so you can see me still as I draw. So to get started, we're going to be using this paintbrush tool right here, and this is what we're going to be using to draw. And once you select that, we're going to go over here to the workstation, and we're going to select brushes. This is the brush we're using right here, the one that's highlighted. We're going to double click this. We're going to edit the brush a little bit to give it more of a custom look instead of just a round brush. We're going to change the angle to 125 and the roundness to 80. 80 like that. And we're going to change the size to about 8. The size always changes. I always mess around with the size based on what size my canvas is and just whatever I'm trying to draw. Like little details will be in thinner lines, so the size will be smaller, and bigger things usually be with a bigger brush. So the angle is what angle the brush is drawn in. So you can see the little preview box right there showing you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to change that to 125, and the roundness is how round the brush is going to be. I like to have this setting because it gives it more of like a flat brush or flat marker kind of look. And I'm also going to change all of these right here to pressure. I like to change it to pressure because the harder you draw on the tablet, the thicker the line is going to be, and then the lighter you draw on your tablet, the thinner the line is going to be. I'm going to change the variation to about 2 below the size of the actual brush. So you click OK once you find a setting that you like. You can mess around with it and choose whatever setting that you prefer. And so I'll demonstrate this right here. So the lighter I draw like this will be a thin line, and then the harder I draw will be a thicker line. So I'm going to delete that by selecting them and clicking the delete on my keypad. And I'm going to sketch first before I draw the actual drawing. And to sketch, I'm going to sketch straight up in Illustrator. So I'm going to edit the brush again to make it more of a sketch pencil type of feel. I'm going to edit the color to give it a blue color because blue is easier to see under the black. Instead of black on black, it's easier to see blue on black. So I'm going to double click this box right here. This is the color of the stroke that we're using. I'm going to go and select a light blue color like this. And once you find the color that you like, you're going to select OK. And instead of it just being straight up blue like this, I'm going to change the opacity down to about between 20 or 30. And now once I draw and let go, the line will be faded more. And this is easier to see and easier to sketch with. So I'm going to delete those and start sketching right here. So Illustrator is really nice because it deals with the vectors instead of other things.
What's a vector?
A vector is, instead of using pixels, it uses geometrical shapes and lines to form drawings. So it gives it more of a camera-ready feel. So the longer or the closer you zoom into it, it doesn't change the quality or it doesn't get pixelated or anything like that. So that's really nice. It's a very, very good thing because it's camera ready. See if I'll zoom in like this, the quality doesn't change. It doesn't get all pixelated. It's very nice. Okay, so there's my sketch. I just drew a little face. See the eyes, nose, mouth, and the hair. And we've been drawing on this layer right here. If you go click on here, you can select layers. Illustrator, people use a lot of layers, tend to use a lot of layers in Illustrator, which is really nice. Layers are basically like different pieces of paper on top of each other. So we've been just using one layer, and we've been using the layer 1 right here. So to create a new layer, we're going to be drawing over this layer. You create a new layer down here, like that. And we're going to lock this layer. So you click right here, and it locks it. So now we can't draw on it anymore. We can't edit it when it's locked. You can unlock it if you want to edit it again, but we're not going to mess with this layer anymore. So you lock it right there. You select this layer, and this is the layer we're going to be inking it on to have the final outline. So we're going to make it black again. So go all the way down to black and change the opacity all the way to 100 like that. So then you just start drawing it like that.
So how did you learn how to draw in Illustrator?
That's a good question. She asked me how I learned to draw in Illustrator. I've actually, it's all self-taught. Most of it is anyways. About 90% of it is self-taught. I just learned by picking up my tablet and just messing around with Illustrator. I did look up some things on YouTube. It's a really good free source to look up stuff. And I know a lot of websites you can look up that show you tutorials that sometimes you have to pay to look at some tutorials, but a lot of people have a lot of free stuff such as YouTube that you can easily see how to do like certain specific things. If you're looking at how, I don't know, to change the brush that I did earlier in the beginning of the tutorial, I looked that up and then I just found a setting that I like that suits what I like, and you can always just find a lot of stuff on the internet for that. And so say you're done. So if you just want to look at the final drawing, the ink drawing, you can unselect this tool. You can toggle visibility. So click on that so it makes the layer that you selected disappear. So you can just see that one, or if I just wanted to look at the sketch again, you can look at it like that. So say you're done. Say I'm done with this and I want to save it. So you go up to File, you go to Save As, and then you call it wherever you want right here. And you select the format, and then you select save, and then you're done with that. And that's how you draw. That's how I draw in Illustrator. A very basic way how to draw. And now I'm also going to show you how to scan in original drawings and turn it into a vector drawing. So I'm going to make a new layer for this. I'm going to select out of Illustrator. I took a picture of a drawing that I drew and I put it on my computer. You can either take a picture of it or scan it onto your computer, either one. As long as the picture is a good high quality picture like this, then it'll be fine. So you just drag it in there right there. What was that?
Can you use photographs?
You can use photographs, but it'll probably look really funny because I'll show you how it might look funny in a sec. So here's that. So I'm going to scale it down. You select the scale. You select the selection tool right here. Hold down Shift on your keyboard, and then you drag the corner, you drag it down like that, and then scale it however you'd like. I'm going to scale it about there, just to fit the image. And once you have it selected, you go down to, Object. You go all the way down to Image Trace, and you go to Make and Expand. And this will take a second for Illustrator to load, but it's making it into a vector image like that. And so this whole thing is one image like this. Say I wanted to delete this little corner right there because it has black on it. I don't want that, so I can't just select that one part because the whole thing is one image. So if you go up to, select the whole thing like that, go up to Object, and then Ungroup. And this will ungroup the whole thing to make each thing that's connected its own vector. So I'll select that and delete all of that border around that. And say I don't want my signature down here, I'll select that with Select Tool, and I'll delete it by clicking Delete on my keyboard right there. So if you did that to, like you asked, like a photograph, it'll probably have a lot of black spots because photographs are really, really dark, tend to be. It's good for illustrations because there's just solid black lines, so it's easy for Illustrator to read the black lines compared to the white. Earlier, if I tried to drag in a drawing that didn't have that much good light, had really dark shadows on one end, it would half the image would be black because it just read the shadows as just a solid black line. So half of it you wouldn't be able to use it.
So that's why you don't want to use shading when you scan a drawing into it. You want to just have it just a picture that you've drawn.
You can have a picture that you've drawn. It's just easier way to say you drew a drawing and you want to make it a vector image.
Okay.
It's good to have. It's just good, easy to use if you have a nice clear image that you take in a picture or scanned. And so you can just go in, have the select tool and like select, say I didn't want that little thing, so select it and then delete it on your keyboard. And you can just go in and fix whatever you want to fix up. And then just save it the same way. If you wanted to save it instead of an AI file, which is an Illustrator file, if you want to save it as a JPEG or PNG, you can go to Save for Web, and the screen will pop up. There's a lot of stuff happening, but just ignore all that, and you just go to right here. You can select JPEG, PNG, and then you just click Save.
What's a PNG?
A PNG is just another form of a document.
Okay,
it's a different form.
Okay.
So there's JPEG, PNG. They tend to be not that high quality of documents. A PDF is a really good thing to save as usually.
Right.
So if you just go to File, so save as regular. PDFs tend to be the best to save as. That's what I usually save it as when I want to save it instead of an AI file to send to people like professionally.
Okay.
So that's how I draw and scan images in Illustrator. I hope it helped and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.